Welcome, friends. Welcome to the 500K Sales Closer script. This script is really what I've used the most in the last couple of years. This just works. If you want to do high ticket sales, this is it. High ticket sales, I would say really it starts at 5K. I mean, we could put 3K, $3,000. And I would say, you know, anywhere up to $50,000, $100,000 programs is where this script, it will work. So it's just about following it. Some rules here. The prospect should be talking 80% of the time. Most people just get this wrong. Please just don't get this wrong. Please, please, please. 80% of the time, the prospect should be talking. So that means if you have a 1 hour conversation, you're only talking 12 minutes and the prospect is talking 48 minutes. So try to challenge yourself with a stopwatch. There's a reason why I say this. The best sales calls are always the ones where you're talking the least. So you're really not selling. It's the whole conversation is framed as an application. They're applying to join your program, you're qualifying them. That's the best sales calls, obviously. So with that in mind, I think we should dive into this. How long should the call be? Well, the call should be, I would say, on average 45 minutes. It could also be an hour, depending on how long it goes on for. Are there objections that need to be solved? Does the prospect have questions? So I would always have an hour in my calendar for these calls. That's what I would do. And you always want to do it in Zoom. You want to have a Zoom, you want to sit down on your laptop, and you want to just be ready to rock and roll. So let's start with stage one. Start the call with a warm and friendly tone, establishing from the beginning, this isn't going to be an aggressive, high pressure sales pitch. That's it, right? You want to say, hey, name. So I'm happy that you're here with me today. How's your day going? Great. Where in the world are you now? Awesome. Oh, that's cool. I've been there before. Anyways, are you ready to get started? Sounds cool, right? So that's basically it. The beginning stage one should not be more than 60 seconds maximum. Like you don't want to spend time on talking about like a lot of personal stuff. Why? Because it's strictly business. It puts you in a position of being trusted. And yeah, it can come off just not genuine if you're just trying to chat about all kind of stuff unless you're really social and there's always an exception to the rule and sometimes I do go for that report, but I would say if you just make sure that your next 1,000 calls you just make this part 60 seconds, you're going to be good. All right, good. Then part two, one is set intention and establish authority. So after you've said, okay, are you ready to get started now? Let's put this in. Um, you say, okay, so listen, I want to be respectful but for both your time as well as mine. So I have a hard stop at the top of the hour. Do you have time today for the full 45 to 60 minutes? So get that confirmation. All right, great. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Neil. I am from Denmark and I'm 37 years old. I'm here because I'm responsible for selecting the right candidates for our program. It's really that simple. So a lot of times people think that sales need to be this amazing magical thing. If you actually watch my sales calls, they're very boring because I'm just asking questions. I'm down to earth. I'm not hypey. I'm just clear and confident. That's it. I have energy, obviously, but I'm not like over the top ecstatic or anything like that. You don't need to be an what's it called? You don't need to be an outgoing person. You can be an introvert. That's gonna work fine because with this script, it's really about digging deep into their core desires, and it's done through really intelligent questions. And then in the end, you're basically just giving them what they need. So you don't need to be hypey. I really want to hammer on that. Like you really don't need to be salesy in any way, shape, or form. The frame of mind you should have on a call like this is don't think of yourself as a salesperson, but more as a consultant, or even better, imagine a doctor. Maybe you know a good old doctor in your neighborhood or in your city that you go to, somebody you'd like, ideally. The doctor that comes to my mind, he's in his 50s, 60s. He's, he looks trustworthy, he's nice, he's down to earth, and he's curious and asking questions. That's the frame you want. So, anyways, the intent of the call today is to find out where you are right now, what's working, not working, where you want to go, and see if you're a good fit for, and then the program name. So, for the 500K program, for instance. And full disclosure, I'm not a salesperson who gets commission. So if I onboard you today, I don't get a reward. My job is just purely to see if you're a great fit. And if you're a great fit, I'll give you an invitation to onboard with us. Does that sound fair? I always like to use that. Does that sound fair? Now, this whole part with I'm not a salesperson who gets commission, you can choose to just take this off because maybe you are a salesperson who gets commission. So, like, I put this in because I was not a salesperson who got commission and I thought it sounded cool. Um, and it's just worked very well for me. But anyways, like you see what you're doing here, you just hey, listen, do you have the whole 45 minutes, 60 minutes? I also am looking for like, is this person walking around? Is he in a car? So ideally he's just sitting down and ready to rock and roll, and maybe he has some like a notebook he can take notes on. That would be the ideal situation. But if he's driving, sometimes I depends on like, the vibe I'm getting, I will stop the call and say maybe this is better to reschedule. Why? Because it's going to put you, it's going to put more respect on you and the situation. They're going to respect, this is what I was trying to say. They're going to respect the situation much more if they know that you don't allow like them to be distracted. It's not a negative thing. It's just like, listen, this is very serious. I'm spending my time on this. You're spending your time on this. We should be focused on this. This is potentially about to change your future, maybe. So why don't we have this conversation when you are in a more when you're in a better space where you can focus? Oh no, I'm sorry. Listen, I can drive into the side. Like I can take the call now. So in that case, if somebody does that, then of course it's be like, okay, what about I give you a few minutes? You can park and sit down and we can be focused. So I've done that multiple times and that works great. But rescheduling, if they're not fully present, is definitely a good idea. Having somebody and they're walking around in the house and they're talking with somebody, like you don't want that because that means they don't value you. And you definitely don't want that frame. Maybe they do value you, but like the context, I just don't feel that they don't value my time. And that's important because you want that certainty that they value your time. Why? Because sales is certainty. So it's a really subtle things here with framework. And I'm telling you, I have some of the best closing rates in the world from, my team. So when I get calls set up to myself, like my closing rate is not lower than 50% usually. And it could be, and I've done this in multiple industries, and sometimes even 70, 80% closing rates in the higher end. So like this works. You don't need to be perfect speaker. I'm definitely not. I sometimes stumble on my words, like English is my second language. These things are not that important. What's important is that you have the right frame of mind and you bring the right energy. I'm not talking about high energy. I'm just talking about the right energy, that you're a consultant, you're here to really help. That's important. And then you have clarity on what's right and not right for them. So, anyways, um, I like this whole thing because it sets the intention and establishes authority. And the reason why I spend so much time on this is because authority and intention is everything. You want to set that from the get-go. All right, then you're eliminating the I need to think about it objection, and you can go through this script. It's pretty cool. So let's go through it. So now, with that being said, and before we dive in, I just wanted to say that we've seen that our most successful clients that have and then achieved whatever massive game, that achieved really fast success with day trading, all have two traits in common. They're extremely decisive, and then, of course, they're committed. So by the end of this call, I want us to both be clear on whether you're 100% in or out. I'm good with either answer. The one thing I ask that we avoid is finishing the call with, I need to think about it, because most of the time that's just a nice way of saying no. So is that something we can agree to? Great. So full disclosure, we are running a once in a lifetime promotion. So if you're approved today, you'll receive a 50% discount on your investment. This offer is only available during this call if we determine you're a great fit. You can always join the program later, but it will be at the regular investment cost, double the discounted rate I'm offering today. Is that clear? The reason we structure it this way is that we like to reward action takers and we don't chase people. So we prefer to work with decisive individuals, allowing our company to spend less time on sales and more time on delivering real results for our clients. Is that clear too? Great. So, like, what I love about this is so the whole part two is obviously, um, setting the intention and establishing authority. And what you're doing in 2.2, you're taking that to the next level, but just really framing it like, hey, on this call, we're making a decision. So, like, I'm good if you're in, I'm good if you're out, doesn't really matter, but I'm here to figure out what's up, and we're gonna do this together. And then you're eliminating the I need to speak with my partner objection. So is there anybody else like a business partner or significant other that helps you make financial decisions, or is it just you? So you want to wait for their confirmation of it's just me. That's really important because if they do have a partner that helps make business decision, that person needs to be on the call with them. Otherwise, you won't be able to close the deal in the end, and they will just be like, "Oh, well, my partner, I need to consult with them and stuff like that." So you want to get that solved up front by, asking them to bring their partner now. Like, are they around? Can they join the call? If the partner is not available, then you'll have to reschedule the call for a time that does work for both of you. Now, obviously, if the person before you who spoke with the prospect, maybe that was you or somebody else in your team, on the triage call, on the best in a qualification call, because a qualification call is really about just qualifying specifically if they're ready to learn more about your program. And that point, you should, what's it called, you should look for, are they actually, um what's the word, are they the decision maker? And then if they're not on the qualification call, you make sure that both individuals are on the sales call, on this call. So the person who qualifies should make sure like that you don't have to reschedule now. But in some cases, it can be that, the other salesperson you spoke with didn't do his job. Unfortunate, that can happen. But more likely, if you have great setup and culture and management, it's that, the pre-qualifier, as I like to call him or her, she spoke or he spoke with the prospect, and the prospect agreed, okay, I'll bring my wife, but he didn't bring his wife. So he just didn't do what he set out to do. And then you have to reschedule just to make it clear for him that, like, listen, this is a decision call. We're making a decision on this call, whether it's you're in or you're out, but we're making one. And I like that. I also like the frame of, listen, like, this is about us figuring it out. So in 2.2, um, this offer is only very available during this call if we determine you're a great fit. So it's always if you're a great fit, if you're a great fit. Um, I want us both to be clear on whether you're 100% in or out. I'm good with both, with either answer. So what I'm kind of communicating here is, listen, I want to figure out if you're a good fit, and I want us to determine whether you're a good fit or not. Because maybe I am not going to think you're a good fit, but it could also be that you don't think you're a good fit, and that's great. This is a collaboration. You're applying to see if this is a good program for you. You want to hear more about it. Like, that's my frame. So I'm just explaining the framework, the mindset behind, some of the words we're using. The investment cost, I always like to use the word investment instead of price. If you're using the price, that's something that has a cost. It's something, well, of course it has a cost, but more like nobody wants to pay a price. But an investment is something you get value out of. I like an investment. So, you know, be aware of using the correct word. So hang on 1 second. All right. So now you've set up the call. It's framed really good. You have removed two objections that they need to think about it, and I need to speak with my partner. And you really positioned yourself in a role of authority. And by the way, you already in their mind is an authority if the previous people on your team or in the previous calls, you did your job correctly. So, but now it's just cemented. Now you're setting a doctor frame to diagnose the problem and you get them to realize they have massive pains. So you dig into the pains to get them to realize that they need to get out of their situation, get to the root of the problem, their motivation. Pro tip, always pause like when you're speaking for 2, 3 seconds after they answer your question. That's a really good exercise. A lot of people, they're too eager to speak. No, no, no. What you can do sometimes is just mute yourself after every time like you ask a question and then don't unmute yourself unless there's been like 3, 4, 5 seconds of silence. And it can be awkward in the beginning, but trust me, it puts really good uh, positive pressure on the individual to share about themselves. And you want that kind of positive pressure. That's going to help the sale. You're going to make more sales like that because you will discover things that you won't necessarily otherwise discover. Because sometimes if you're just, they finish speaking and you're just asking, finish speaking, they're just asking, it doesn't allow them to look for more, to actually let loose. So you're creating safety for them in a way by just being there and by actually pressuring them because when you pressure somebody to speak it's indirectly, it's very subtle. It's just like, oh, I thought I was finished talking, but like maybe they're qualifying themselves basically. When somebody is speaking, they're qualifying themselves. So, and that's the investment. Like, remember, we are attracted to what we invest in. And the investment funnel is really about emotional and time investment. And now they're also investing by sharing stuff that they might not never, like they might have never shared this information they're sharing with you with anyone. So you want them to share as much as possible. That's what I'm really trying to say. Like this is so, so key. A lot of people don't understand this, but I wouldn't say it if it's not really important. This is based on 20 years of experience. Like you want them to share their deepest secrets about their pains, their thoughts. You want them to just lay it out there. Like, so you just want to be that person who's listening. And sometimes if they're finished, you can just say, hmm okay. Or just repeat the last word they said. So like if the last word was didn't feel good, that those were the last words. Oh, it didn't feel good. That's it. No, it didn't. hmm You just stay there. And you can always say, is there anything else you want to share? Like after like 3, 4, 5 seconds, but just like get to the point where it feels a little bit uncomfortable and just challenge yourself. Anyways, part one, identify problem plus pain. So first question to always ask, what's your motivation for joining the program? Like, what's your motivation for being here today? I always like to say, why do you want to join the program? You're assuming they want to join the program. Of course they want to join the program. And then they tell you why. It's really that simple. What do you think is the main issue you're struggling with when it comes to day trading, for instance? Why not just do this yourself? Again, you're applying. Why don't they just go on this journey without having to invest in a program? Why do they need help? And then they are selling themselves. They're explaining to you why they should not do this themselves. This is genius. Why is this something you can't keep procrastinating on anymore? So basically, they're telling them they can't procrastinate anymore. You're framing it the right way. What have you tried in the past? How long have you been thinking about getting XYZ problem fixed? Maybe they're in a 9 to 5 job they don't like. You figured that out. So how long have you been thinking about getting out of your 9 to 5? Hmm. Okay. How is this affecting you on a bigger level, like being in a job you don't like? How's that affecting you with your life in general? With friends, family, relationships, health, self-esteem, finances. I'm just trying to really understand your psychology because in that way obviously I would understand you better and see if this is a great fit. I always justify why I ask deep questions. That feels more natural to me. So if I ask a deep question, like sometimes I'll be like, the reason why I ask is to understand who you are because that's what this call is about. Only in that way I can figure out if this is a great fit. And you could even say that in the beginning, and then you don't have to say it more, and you could just ask very, very deep questions. If you were to stay on the same path, doing the same things, what do you think you'd be missing out on in your business or life or in the next year, whatever? Like you basically want to have a question here that gets them in the frame of mind of what they're missing out on, like fear of loss. So if you were to stay on the same path in your 9 to 5, you're not doing anything about this day trading thing. You're not going to the next level. You're basically just doing the same thing. So what do you think you'd be missing out on in your life in the next year? How do you think, if you really truly don't do anything about this, where do you think you will end up in the next 5, 10 years? Like get them to see the worst case scenario. So you want to really, create pain here. If somebody's trying to lose weight, again, like, okay, if you don't do anything about your eating habits, you don't do anything about your body, what do you think you're going to be in 5 years? What about in 10 years? What about in 15 years? Like, if somebody said, like, I'm going to die, and I literally had a client doing that, and he just made the decision to join the program. Like, it was just that question, like, what's going to happen if you don't do anything about it? And he was just thinking. He said it. I said, okay, is there a reason why you should not do anything about it today and join this program? He was just thinking. He was thinking for like 3 minutes. I could hear him breathe. It was just like, okay, in the end, because the pain was so horrible and I wanted to help him, of course. And like, it would be irresponsible of me of not closing him. So, anyways, you want to ask questions that get them to share their pain and you really want to dig into it. Whenever you realize that they can tell you more, dig deeper with these questions. What do you mean by that? Why is that so important to you? Like you can spend easily 10, 15 minutes here. Then now you want to reiterate, repeat what they told you so far by make them feel heard and understood. You want them to feel seen, that you truly get them. This continues to build trust and shows them that you're listening. So you can say, okay, interesting. So now I've been speaking with you for the last 10, 15 minutes, and what I'm hearing is right now you're struggling with point one, point two, point three. Use the words they gave you. Don't make up your own words. Like, explain it. You should be taking notes while you're asking these questions so you can look at your notes and you can repeat it back. This is really about being present, being great at taking notes and then repeating their words back to them. If you do this right, they'll be like, yeah, that sounds about right. Or they will correct you, be like, no, what I meant is this. But just the fact that they're correcting you and then you're repeating back the new thing is just like, okay, this person gets me. Like he truly gets me. And that's awesome. So if it's okay if they're correcting you, just repeat back, um, repeat what they've told you until they say, yes, that's right. You understand. That should be totally clear. You can even ask, do I totally get your situation? Do you feel like that? Or is there something missing here? Okay. Stage three, establish what heaven looks like for them. This is where you're now trying to understand what their dreams are, what are their goals. So you say, okay, I feel like I have a really good idea of where you're at. Now let me understand where you want to go. Let's pretend we're having this conversation 1 year from today, and in this 12-month period, everything in your day trading journey went perfectly, and you now have an income of $5,000 a month. You have said goodbye to your 9 to 5 job. You're working from home. You're spending more time with your kids, and you're just now feeling free, just getting rid of that unhappy state that you've been telling me about. So this is the situation. Everything went perfectly. What does your life look like at this point? So You can specify, depending on the product you sell, what's your monthly income now? What do you want to be? When do you want to be in a relationship? How much do you weigh? What are you earning on trading? So, so basically now I try to look at the script here and I just want to speak from the heart now. Like what I do in this stage is I sit down with him and I say, listen, I want you to imagine we're starting working together. I'm not saying we can do this, but let's just imagine. Is that okay? Okay, great. Now, let's look into the future. Let's look into the future. 1 year from now, we're sitting down, we work with each other. You are extremely happy about our work together. What has happened? What have you achieved? Where are you now in your life? So if you're selling a relationship, where are you in your relationship? Where are you with your income? So you want to ask the question that is directly related to what you're selling. So imagine we're sitting down 1 year from now, we are having a smoothie, a cup of coffee, and you are excited about the last year. What's your income like right now? What's your body weight like right now? Like whatever it is that you're selling, you want to ask that question. Okay. You want them to explain the heaven. You want them to be very specific. Okay, awesome. That sounds good. What's your motivation for getting these results? How would things change if you got that result? Why is getting, that desire so important to you? These are very important questions. Pro tip, you need to make sure that the goal they're setting is absolutely clear. I want to emphasize this. You got to make sure it's absolutely clear what the goal is. It needs to be something measurable. You can see here, it says here in the script, it is absolutely crucial to get a clear, measurable goal from them. The clearer, the better. So I would never say or accept, I would never accept if I say, okay, so what do you want to get out of day trading? Like 12 months from now, where are you with your income? Well, I'm having more freedom. I quit my 9 to 5 and I'm making more money. I would never accept that answer because more money, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I need to be able, as a manager, to cross it off on a checklist and be like, you accomplished the goal. You could say, oh, I quit my 9 to 5, but you could quit it tomorrow and you're not making money. So I want, when it comes to money, I want numbers. When it comes to body weight, I want kilos. When it comes to muscle, you want to build muscle, I want numbers again. Like I want specific things. If somebody is like a power lifter, I want to know like how many fucking uh sets is he going and reps is he going to do with certain exercise. Do you understand what I mean? Like I want specific goals. If he's looking for a relationship, I want to know what kind of woman. I want to get a picture of his dream woman. Like I want him to find somebody that he can think of and be like, this is how she looks like. I want to be very specific. He's a bachelor. He wants to go on a lot of dates. I want to know how many dates do you want to go on a monthly basis? Like literally. I don't care what their goals are. I just need to know what are their true goals that would make them feel awesome. And sometimes they don't know. So you got to challenge them. Okay, you just say if they say, "Oh, I'm not too sure." Be like, "Okay, just play with me here. There's no wrong or right answer. This is a little challenge. Just give me a number. What's the right number for you?" And you can do that a couple of times. You can say, "Okay, well, if you just had to pick a number that seems all right, what would you go for?" Okay, is that something that excites you? What would be a number that if you think about that you achieve this, it would excite you? Get them to be excited about the goal. Very, very clear. It should be realistic, but also very ambitious that they're like, okay, if I achieve this, that would be freaking awesome. It needs to be clear, crystal clear, because the whole product, when you're selling your product, is really about getting them to the goal. Remember, when you're selling high ticket, it's about moving them from A to Z. That's it. A to B, A to Z, whatever. Like you're moving them. You're getting them from current situation to desired situation. But if you don't know desired situation, it's going to be hard to use that as a selling point. But if you know that, listen, their dream goal is to earn $12,000 a month, when they do that, they will be able to quit their job. You can tie that into the program. Listen, man, I know you want to make $12,000 a month. I will make it my life's mission with you the next 6 months to make that happen for you. We're going to work day in and day out on getting to that $12,000 a month so you can quit your job and so you can spend time with your kids. But I got some requirements for you. You got to really be all in. You got to be da da da. But can you see how that sounds awesome in the end? Like that you are there for them and you really truly understand their goals and it's about their goals. So it's not about selling your time. A lot of people make the mistake. They're selling their time. Oh, my time is worth this and you're going to pay me that. No, make it about their goal. That's a way better way of doing selling. So, and that's why having this conversation is to figure out, can you actually help them? Because then the confidence when you're delivering it is really not confidence, it's clarity, but it comes off as confidence because you just know you can help them. And that's awesome. So, with that said, you want to make sure that the dream is awesome. Then you want to reiterate, make them truly feel seen, heard, and understood again. Let me make sure I understand your situation. You're saying your goal is X, Y, X, Y, Z. Did I get that right? Use their exact words to ensure clarity. Okay. If the goal isn't fully clear or feels too small, encourage them to refine it or think even bigger. Keep this process going until the goal is both exciting for the project prospect and realistically achievable. And then you say, got it. Yep, that all makes sense to me. Appreciate you sharing that with me. All right. You can say something along those lines. But like, here's the thing. You want them to feel seen, heard, and understood. So, okay, got it. Yes, that makes sense. I really appreciate you sharing all this with me. Let me make sure I understand. You're saying your goal is XYZ. Did I get that right? Oh, you said it was like, okay, so your goal is XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Is that true? Awesome. Is there anything I forgot here, or do you feel like I understand what you want to accomplish? Is it spot on? Spot on? Okay, great. Boom. Now, if you're doing it like that, like they will really feel seen, heard, and understood. Okay. Um, Stage four, bridge the gap. Note, if you already asked the question in the doctor phase, why not do this on your own? And they provided you with a substantial answer, you can skip this phase. But I find a lot of times they don't give you a substantial answer. Okay, X, you're currently stuck state and you want to get to dream. So it could be, okay, you're currently in a 9 to 5 that you don't enjoy. You feel kind of like a prisoner in your own life. Those are the words you used. And you want to get to location freedom with day trading where you're earning five, $6,000 a month and you have freedom to spend as much time as you want with your kids. So without the proper mentorship guidance, what's holding you back from achieving that on your own? So basically what you're looking for here is I don't know how to do it. I've already wasted time on this for years now. I want to work with somebody who's done it before. Actually, I deleted a sentence there because usually I just say, what's holding you back from achieving that on your own? So, okay, Christian, you told me that you're in a 9 to 5, that you don't enjoy, you're getting tired of your job, and you feel like a prisoner in your own life. You really don't have freedom to spend time with your kids, and you want to get to five, $6,000 a month with day trading. You already started a bit and you believe you can do it. And you want to do that so you can, have more freedom, be happy, and spend time with your kids. So my question to you is what's holding you back from achieving that on your own? Well, what do you mean? Well, why can't you just go and do that on your own? And what you're looking for here is I don't know how to do it. I already wasted time on this for years now. I want to work with somebody who's done it before. And actually another one, I want to go there faster. I want to go there faster. Like I want to get to the goal faster. So if I don't get any of these, like there's no reason to work with each other. Like they need to acknowledge at this stage that they need you. And like they're literally here admitting I cannot do this alone. Now you did ask the question earlier, but if I'm not happy with it, I want to make it absolutely clear and it doesn't hurt to ask twice. So yeah, you can do that. All right, stage five, qualify, have them sell you. So I want to be fully transparent. I only accept a specific type of person into our coaching program. Our program is already highly successful. And at this stage, I'm just not looking for coaching clients. I'm actually looking for future success stories. So, for example, if you're a success story 12, 16 weeks from now, and then insert their ideal outcome, like you have learned the foundations of day trading, and a year from now, I'd want to feature you in a YouTube video because now you have that location freedom that you explained to me that you want, and I want to showcase it to the world how you have achieved that, goal. So with that in mind, can you tell me why you're the kind of person who will become that success story? And basically why you're a great fit for the program. Basically what I'm saying here is, listen, I'm not just looking for clients. I want success stories. That's what keeps me up at this stage of my life. This is what keeps me going. So I want to work with people where in a year from now, I can get them and feature them on a YouTube video or on my social media and showcase that they are completely transformed their lives. So I want that to be you if we're working together. Could you tell me why would you be a potentially great success story? Like what what's the reason that you are basically a great fit for this program? And you want them to sell themselves to you. At this point, just listen. Let them sell you on why they should be chosen. Confirm. So with that being said, if I could provide you with all the steps what to do, A, B, C, everything step by step, is that something you would take action on today? Wait for them to say yes, then move on. Sometimes, depending on the level of authority and rapport you've built, you can push a little harder. If they give you a lukewarm or uncertain answer, you might even say, convince me. I like that. So sometimes if I say, okay, well, why should I let you join the program? Like, listen, I want success stories. I want you to be a success. And quite frankly, the reason why we are so qualifying in who we let into our program is because we don't want people in to ruin our track record. We have an amazing track record and people achieve success, and that's basically the best spirit, uh, you know, like to be in, like really ambitious and focused and just wanting to crush it. And we want to protect that energy inside the program because that affects everybody else. So, like, I only want to work with people who truly want to win. Like, why do you want to win? Basically, why should I choose you to be a part of this program? And then he gives his answer. Okay, sounds good. Well, convince me. This challenging approach works usually best with men and usually with men below 33, something like that. So younger men, for sure, men in their 20s. Can you do it sometimes with men in their 40s? Yes, of course. Sometimes my tone would be more smiling and friendly. I will always adapt to the person. So if I'm speaking with, let's say, a CEO, he's in his 40s and he's a millionaire, I could be like, all right, buddy, like I know that you are a winner, but please convince me. I need to know why do you want to join this specific program? Like I'm just having a standard of I need to be convinced that you want to do this because you've told me, listen, if I provide the steps, then you'll do them. But I only want to take people in where I know it's a good fit. Remember, you set that frame at the beginning. So why are you a great fit? Why do you think this is awesome for you? Like, please convince me. And I like that, please convince me, because it completely changes the framework of the dialogue. Like now they're convincing you. They're not just applying, they're trying to convince you why they should join your program directly or indirectly, depending on the follow-up questions. But I love this part. So yeah, this is awesome. Now you're convinced. So you present the offer. Also, one thing I want to say, like sometimes I'm very qualifying, other times I'm not. It really, again, it depends on the individual, but most importantly, it depends on their energy. If somebody comes on, they're just like, I want this. This is awesome. You got I just ask simple questions. I follow the script 100%. And I don't dig too deep. That's it. By the way, in terms of following the script, like I would say, if I'm having a conversation tomorrow or tonight and I'm going to sell somebody, I'm going to have this script open and I'm going to follow it 95%. I'm literally just going to read out loud. I'm not going to try to be cute and come up with my own answers. I see a lot of salespeople in the beginning when they join, they're really successful because they follow the script 100% because they don't know what to do. And then they feel comfortable and they change the script or they kind of like wing it or feel it's cool or feel like if they don't follow the script, it's more natural or anything like that. It's just bullshit and their conversions go down. And then we have to remind them to follow the script. Like I personally follow the script 95% of the time. Like when I say 95, I'm literally word for word. Like I could change a couple of words, but the framework, I'm definitely not skipping any of these parts. For sure not. For sure not. Like I'm going through it step by step. I'm literally opening, having the document open, and I'm always making a copy, make copy, and then I can take notes, right? Like I'm always doing that while I'm on the Zoom. and it just keeps me focused. Anyways, qualify. Step six is presenting the offer. Now, this is the only place where you're selling. And if you're doing it right, it's not going to feel like sales. It's again, it's that whole thing of um, being the doctor. If you've listened to a client in front of you explaining how it hurts in his joints and his heart and like he can't see and like and sometimes and he's deaf and you're listening to all these things and you're like holy cow, like you have some issues here, like man, I really want to help you, like let's get this fixed. Here is what you need to do. Like that's it. That's the selling. It's not trying to be like, cute and this is the most amazing thing in the world and da 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 da. Um, when I say it's not the most amazing thing in the world, I'm just talking about like people a lot of trying to salesy. Of course, your thing is the most amazing. So you could say, listen, you have the problem with your hearing. Like you gotta take these pills. It's gonna cure it right away. It's the most amazing pill for specifically that. So that you gotta take 3 times a week. Boom, boom. I know I'm making up some funny metaphors here, but you understand it, right? Like you want to be that doctor. So at this point, you now present your offer. Keep this high level. You should spend no more than 2 minutes talking about what your offer is. Sometimes I only spend 1 minute. But if you're spending more than 2 minutes explaining your offer without, obviously you can spend more time if they ask you questions. But if you're spending more time just out of the bat following the script, it's not good. So pro tips, don't explain step by step, just cover the overall process and especially the end outcome that your client desires. Remember, they've already seen the program video. Okay. Customize your offer presentation to what they've told you. For example, if you're selling a program that teaches other how to create a course coaching program, and on the sales call, the lead tells me, I hate courses, I want to be a coach. When I explain the offer, I will not say I'll show you step by step how to create a course. Instead, I'll emphasize the benefits of becoming a coach. If they're not a fit, you could potentially wrap it up and set up a time to follow up with them when they made more progress. You can even assign some homework for them to be prepared for eventually working with you. But if they reach this point in this call with you, this should not be the case. They should be ready to want to move forward. So, anyways, the way you do that is you say, fantastic. Well, at this point, I think it makes the most sense to share with you about what the program is all about, what you'll be learning inside of it, and then we can talk about how to get you started. Does that sound good to you? So wait for them to say yes. By the way, there's another thing that I forgot to put in here. Um, you want to compliment them. Okay. I thought I had this in. I'm not too sure why. But basically, what you want is you want to compliment them and explain to them why they're a good fit. Reason one, two, three. So I take notes. So, after I said convince me or after they answered the question of like, so with that being said, if I could provide you with all the steps, is that something you would take action on today? And they say yes. And, they basically told me why their success story, why they will become a success story and why they're a good fit for the program. I'll be like, okay, Christian, love your answers. Thank you so much. I've been talking with you now for 45 minutes, and it's clear to me that you truly want to change your situation. And I really like how transparent you've been with me. So that I truly love. And then also, it seems like you have really clear, but also realistic goals. You're not coming here to me and saying that you want to make $100,000 next month. You're saying, just an extra $3,000 a month would be awesome. And you're also being really realistic about the timeline. You know that this can take potentially a year or two. So you're very mature about things. And I love that. So because of all this, and quite frankly, I love your situation. I would love to help you with all this. Because of this, then congratulations. You are allowed to potentially join the program if that's what you want. So, like, I like that. I like to say that, and usually I don't say potentially join the program. I say congrat. I actually say in 99% of the case, I say congratulations. You're allowed to join the program. Like, or congratulations, we want to work with you. That's a better one. Congratulations, we want to work with you. Compliment them, explain them. Explain to them why they're a good fit and congratulate them on you wanting to work with them. And you give them reason one, two, and three, right? So that's basically what you want to do. Yeah, now I'll put it in here. It's actually one of my secret weapons. So I think it's very important to have in the script. I give them again genuine compliment. I say, okay, Christian, thank you for sharing all that. I really love this and I really like this, and you shared this, and because of all of that, you are absolutely a great fit. Obviously, you need to do the work. And I'm assuming that everything you said on this call is true, that you're willing to put in the work. So because of all this, congratulations. We're excited to have you on board. So you're saying that you let it linger, and then they will be happy. So, anyways, fantastic. Well, at this point, I think it makes the most sense to share with you about what, our program is all about and what you'll be learning inside of it, and then we can talk about how to get you started. Does that sound good? Wait for them to say yes and then move on. So the way that my program works is that it's 16 weeks, and the intention by the end of the program is for you to get the foundations of day trading, all the foundations. So you can take that and make $3,000 to $5,000 a month with only 10 hours a week within a reasonable time frame. But it's the foundations that you're learning inside the program. And it's the best course in the world. It's the best program in the world for people who want to learn day trading the right way and also in the fastest possible way. Now, as we talked about, like good things takes time. So when I'm doing it like this, the way I'm selling the day trading course is because we take an approach where we're taking a realistic approach. Like we're not talking about quick wins here. Like, oh, in 4 months you're going to make 3K. Now, if I'm selling a business program, I'll say, okay, the business program is 16 weeks. And really the outcome is to make as much income as humanly possible in those 16 weeks and get you from one level in your business to another level. So you told me you're making 50K. I want to get you to $200,000 a month, and I want to do that as fast as humanly possible. So that's what it's about. And the program consists of four things. It consists of these daily live trainings. You're coming and joining me and my business partner, and we're going to, and other team members. I'm just going to let them all be available for you so we can work together on building your business. You're going to join these group calls, and then you have the curriculum, the missions, and then on top of this, you have the community. And then also, I will give you one-on-one attention during those 16 weeks. So you can always jump on a call with me. You can always ask me whatever questions you have. And we're just literally going to crush it. So your goals become my goals. You said you wanted to get to $200,000 a month. And that's what this program is about, is to get you there as fast as humanly possible. And then you just shut up. So like, there's a formula here. It says, so the way my program works is that it is a 12-week program, 16-week program, and the intention by the end of the program, you will have achieved and then massive dream result. Use their words. It's important that you use the words that they gave you early in the program. In the first phase of the program, we'll be working on, and then you can describe your steps in the second, in the third. So I did a little bit different. I explained the four features. Um, I like to do that, but you could also do, okay, step one is this, step two is this, step three is this. We've definitely done that in a lot of programs. So with an appointment, with a sales closer, an appointment setter program that I was selling, we usually said, okay, listen, there's three stages. Stage one is you learning the skill set. You're acquiring the skill set. You're learning how to set appointments. Step two is we're building that online profile for you. So when you're applying for online remote jobs, you're not just another person just sending a DM or sending a message. No, you have a professional Instagram account that showcases that you're an authority, that you are an elite professional appointment setter or sales closer. And that's just going to put you in front of the pile of applications that the business owner have. Just by looking at your Instagram profile, they'll be like, whoa, this is somebody I'd like to work with. And then thirdly, we're going to make sure to coach you through how to get that first remote job. And, there's a whole method to that, and we're going to go through that together as well. So three steps. One, acquiring the skill set. There's an exam, there are missions. We're going to walk you through this step by step. There are 12 pillars you got to learn. That's going to take about a month. Then the second thing is we're going to build that online profile of yours so you have that business card online, so to speak. That's going to take us about 3 weeks. And then lastly, we're going to make sure that you get that remote job of yours, and we give that about 5 weeks as well. So that's the program. At the end of it, you will be placed in a company and you will, be earning $2,000 to $5,000 a month, depending on how many hours you're willing to work. So that's the program. And that's a way to explain it, right? Because this was about, people wanting to get a remote job. So there are many ways to explain what the program is. I like the two ways. Either the phases, this is how we work. This is phase one, this is phase two, this is phase three, or these are the four features like person unlimited one-on-one support, community access, um, the curriculum with the missions, and then the live trainings. And then I tie all that. And by the way, we do all this to get to your end goal. So I think the phase one, phase two, phase three is probably best in the beginning for you to make it journey based because like that's more high level. Once you get into the details of, this is, one-on-one support, and they might be asking, well, how does the one-on-one support and how much time do I get and stuff like that. But the way I present it, like it just works. But if you're new, maybe you just want to do the phase one, phase two, phase three. Actually, I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. But now I've given you basically the different examples that I've used. And again, it depends on the program, what I'm selling. So you just don't want to make it lengthy. You don't want to make it more than a minute. Um, I would say really make it about the end outcome. It's not too important of how many hours of one-on-one support do they get, how many times, like don't do that unless it's like, amazing program you have where you're giving them one-on-one support, like literally 5 or 7 times a week. You have access, they have access to one-on-one support. Then you can mention it. You can say, okay, and by the way, you have access to unlimited one-on-one support literally 6 days a week, except Sundays. So that's a great feature as well. And then move on. But like you don't want to spend time on that. You don't want to say, oh, you're getting 10 one-on-one sessions. You want to make it about like high level. You're getting one-on-one attention. You're getting group trainings that you can join. You're getting a curriculum that's designed for your success. You're getting a winning community. And what we'll work on is really to get this goal of yours. And your goals become my goals. I am all in on making this happen. And then stop. And then if they want clarification, they're going to ask you. That's the important thing. You're going to figure out what's important to them instead of getting them into the logical mind of the brain where they're now thinking, okay, how many one-on-ones do I get? Okay, how does this work? No, very simple. Make it emotional about their goal. You're just giving justified reason to why you can reach the goal. That's how I see it. So, okay, we're going to reach your goal. The reason why we're going to reach your goal is because we have these four things. One-on-one support, we have unlimited of that. Like you get, these group trainings. We have so many of those, and you just jump on multiple times a week. We can work together. And then on top of this, you have the curriculum is really designed. It's based on my 20 years of experience, and you'll have all these missions, and you have a winning community. So all of these four things are really going to make it up. This is the program, and your goals become my goals. Like I'm literally going to wake up as you, and you're going to be one of my 10 most important clients in the next 6 months. Boom. Then like that's everything you need. And obviously, I just made that up, so it doesn't sound as good as if I like rehearsed it. So you want to like write something down that you can kind of say the same way. You saw how it was a little more fluent with the appointment setter and sales closer description because and it's been a long time since I've been doing sales. I was taking out of it like 1.5 years ago, but I still have it in my mind. I still have it in my mind because I've done it 1,000 times. So that's natural for me. So imagine when once you're on these calls and you're just on a roll every day, like you'll know how to spit it out. And it'll be the same. It will be 95% the same every time. So just write down how you would describe your offer, make it about around an end goal, and then just practice it a couple of times. Have it in writing, put it in here, and then just like make sure it doesn't take more than a minute or two maximum. I would say minute is perfect. And then they can answer questions. Stop talking, let them ask for more, answer questions they have while keeping it high level. So yeah, don't cause confusion. Don't get them into the logical mind of like, oh, how does this work? And this is too complicated. Don't get too excited about showing them all the steps in your Discord or opening up the portal and really talk for many minutes about each section. No, you can open the portal, skim through it, and show them like the 20 seconds, scroll down so they can just see, holy shit, this is good if you have something. But don't really make it about all the simple details. No, no, no. Or complicated details for that matter. All right. Part two. By the way, you do not talk about price yet. If they ask about price, say happy to talk about the investment. But before we jump into that, do you have any questions about the program? If they say nope, those are all my questions. Ready to hear about the price, then move on. Okay, got it. Now you got to build confidence. You say, got it. With everything we've talked about so far, do you believe that with all these tools and resources that I'm providing you, that you are confident that you'd be successful? Wait for them to say yes. You can even qualify them further by saying, why? Convince me. Have them sell you on the program. Again, that's what we did. On, up, here somewhere. Here, convince me. So we like that. Now we can do it again. Even if you said it before, you can do it again. Like, convince me. Why do you like the program? Before it was like, why are you going to be a success story? Now it's like, why do you like the program? They're going to sell you on the program. I love it. All right, in this part, chunk up your price by 50%. So it could be 50%, 30%, 20% to provide a fast action discount. So if your program is 6,000, set the actual price at 3,000. That's crazy to do that because it's like $3,000 discount is too good to be true. But if you actually justify it and you can say, okay, listen, we have our 1 year anniversary. We are doing a once in a lifetime discount. So this is never going to happen again. You're getting 50% off. But there are some requirements is that we're making, the decision together today. There's no really time to, think about it because that's the fast track action discount that we have. If you want $3,000 off, we gotta, close the deal today. Like you could say something like that. That's not the best close, but it would work because it's honest, it's true, and the discount is just so fucking great. So at this point, if they want it and you're saying, listen, we have an anniversary, like this is the reason we have the discount, or we have a promo, you can just say we have a promo. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. We're definitely not doing this again because this is absolutely crazy. You can affirm it's crazy. It's crazy. You're getting $3,000 off. It's 50% off. It's never going to be like that. So yeah. So the investment is going to be $3,000 instead of $6,000. Anyways, you can consider what kind of like um a discount you want to give before the call, of course. So you say, awesome, the full investment of the program is $6,000, but I can tell this is something you truly want, and I can already see how much it could truly transform your life. So because of that, I'm happy to offer you our once in a lifetime fast action discount. As I told you earlier, this is a special promo we are running right now, and it's truly once in a lifetime. This is not going to happen again. So if you commit on this call, I can take 50%. I know it's crazy, but I can take 50% off your investment and make it down to $3,000. But there are two important requirements to qualify for this offer. Number one, this is essential for you to get the most out of the program. Sorry. But there are two important requirements to qualify for this offer. Number one, you need to put in at least 10 hours a week into the program, and you need to contractually commit to that. This is essential for you to get the most out of the program and see real success. Second requirement is that you need to turn in your homework and you need to do it on a weekly basis. Without this, it will be very difficult to achieve the transformation you're looking for. So these are the two requirements. How does that land with you? Can you live up to these requirements? I always like to say, can you live up to these requirements? So, anyways, this is the most selling you'll ever be doing. Now, I actually honestly used a little, I hyped this a little too much for my liking because usually I'm not that hypey. I want to do this again. I would say awesome. The full investment of the program is $6,000. I'm rusty. So I'm even doing the mistake I told you not to do. Like, don't be cute. I was cute there. Okay, awesome. The full investment of the program is $6,000, but I can tell this is something you truly want, and I can already see how much it could transform your life. So because of that, I'm happy to offer you a once in a lifetime fast action discount. This is the special promo that I told you about before that we're running. So if you commit on this call, I can actually take 50% off, bringing your investment down to just $3,000 instead of 6,000. But there are two important requirements for you to qualify for this offer. Number one, we need to have a contractual guarantee that you're willing to put in 10 hours a week in the program. So 10 hours a week, every single week for the next 12 weeks, 16 weeks. So that's requirement number one because that's essential for you to get the most out of the program. Requirement number two is that you're willing to to give us a case study. So by the end, and I love this one, the requirement of case study. You justify that the reason they're getting a discount count is also they have to work for it and be a part of your documentary. So we're creating a documentary and we want a case study of successful people in our program. So basically after the 16 weeks, we want a video of you explaining an honest truth about the program and your results that we can actually use in that documentary. So if that's okay with you, then yeah, then you got one hell of an offer. But like, are these requirements something you can live up to? So I just make it very simple. Like explain a couple of requirements. I just winged a couple of requirements. Requirements could be hours. It could be values that you have a set of values. We do that in CPA Trading Academy. We have like 5 values or, you know, a handful of values. These are the values we have. And we have a PowerPoint and we walk them through them. Can you live up to these? It could be values. It could be time. Um, it could be attitude, like beliefs. Like, are you willing to be all in and have like a winning attitude and not complain during the program? Like, we want to help winners win faster. That's a line I like to use a lot. Like, you can really qualify on things that you think are important. Basically, here's the most important thing. What what should a person do? What would be the perfect client? How would they behave? What standard would they have? What would they do? What actions would they take? What beliefs would they have? And you can have three requirements. That's good. Another requirement, it could be like action oriented, like you got to do direct outreach. So we did that in the sales closer program I told you about before. We said, listen, one of the requirements is that you are willing to do direct outreach and you're not somebody who's going to give up when you get a rejection. So we want you to do, and I can't remember if it was how many it was. I think it was 10 a day for like, a month. So like are you okay with like being really aggressive in the end of the program and really follow our instructions and trust the process and do direct outreach, sending 300 emails to people if we explain you what should be in the emails and who to send them to? And people say, yes, okay, great. Because that's one of the requirements to be successful. So, anyways, come up with at least two requirements. Three is good. Four, you can use the case study. Are you okay with creating a video testimonial or a written testimonial? All right, because that's one of the requirements. How does that land with you? Or I always say, is that something you can live up to? Because like the cool thing is now you're not making this about the price. So you explained the price, but you're immediately saying, but there are two important requirements. So you're already assuming they want to join the program for the price, and you're explaining the requirements, and then you're saying, listen, those are the requirements. I cannot let you in unless it's, you're doing this, but is this something you can live up to? That's what you're sub-communicating here. So you're not making it about the price, you're making it about the requirements, and it puts them in a qualifying frame. Like they have to prove to you that they can do this. And that's a much more awesome like framework. This is night and day compared to if you're just, selling the regular way. Okay. You can feel free to add urgency with this line. I'm only taking enrollments for the next 8 days, and I only have 5 spots left, and I only have 5 spots available, and two are already gone today. So, like, in this way, you're making urgency. So that's always good. Stay silent. Do not talk. You will not want to continue talk and ramble and convince. Mute yourself if you have to. Just wait for the response. That's it. Is this something you can live up to? Just shut up. They say yes. Just look at them. Let them convince you. Like let them see what's up there. So this is gonna require you actually trying it out, but you will see this works amazing. All right. Then enrollment. This is one of the final parts. It's awesome. Well, with that, I want to welcome you as the newest member of our program. I'm so excited for you. You're going to crush it, man. Like congratulations, welcome. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Welcome on board, and they're gonna feel great and be like, yeah, man, because like at this point, like, you know, um, they're convinced that this is great because they convinced you and they feel good about it. So let's try to make this more natural, right? The last question, and basically the transition. Is that something you can live up to? And they say, yes, I can live up to that. Then, a follow-up I say is, so follow-up could be, um, is that something you can live up to? He would say yes. Be like, okay, so you can see yourself being successful in the program. They say yes. Next follow-up. Would you be happy if I let you, I love this one, let you inside the program? Yes. Then you say, okay, well, then awesome. With that, I want to welcome you as the newest member of our program. So obviously you worked your way up to it. Like, you ask them, why do you want to why are you going to be a success story? Then later you presented the offer, and or before that you actually, well, yes, you presented the offer and then you asked them, why do you think the offer is great? Why is this good? Convince me. Have them like, why do you like this? And then you're explaining the price and you're explaining the requirements, and they're now saying that this is good. Okay, can you see yourself being successful with this program? 100%. I'd like to add that in. Okay, would you be happy if I let you inside the program? Yes. I mean, now you build it up. They're ready to rock and roll. So the only thing you have to do now is basically just say awesome. Well, with that said, I want to welcome you as our newest member in our program. Congratulations. You're going to crush it inside. That's it. At this point, the report and the rate where you've done everything, they're going to be ecstatic. Maybe they're going to be a little nervous, but they're going to feel some kind of way, that's for sure. So, um, one thing I like to follow up with is, okay, man, well, welcome on board. You're going to crush it. Congratulations. What excites you the most about your future with us? So that's the next question. What excites you the most about your future with us? Get them to affirm their decision. That's what you're doing. You're just affirming it. You now, if they're a little nervous, you want to remove that nervousness or let it appear. You want them to tell you what they're nervous about so you can remove it. All right. Well, go ahead and get you set up right now. We'll take care of processing and onboarding. If they are clearly nervous, be like, okay, you seem excited. Like, what are you excited about? And then let them share what they're nervous about, and then just affirm that they made a great decision. Well, it's just like, I've never done something like this. It feels like a big decision, and be like, yeah, yeah, I can totally understand that success is usually outside one's comfort zone. But is this truly something you want? And then remind them of their goal. Is this truly something you want? Work your way out of a realistic way out of your 9 to 5, and get that, income with day trading. Is that, because I want this to be absolutely right for you. Oh, yes, it's right. It's right. Well, why? Convince me. Like, so if, maybe you've said convince me before, and convince me is, I mean, it could be a thing. I mean, I don't mind you saying it 3 times. But as you want it to be right, but just be like, explain to me why. Because I want this to be the right fit. You always want to make them feel good. They want to feel good. Now, sometimes they will feel a little uncomfortable, and that's okay. But the way you make them feel good is not by convincing them, it's by asking questions. Remember that. There's so much gold in this session. I would probably watch this again and take notes. Um, Good. So what excites you the most about our future with us? All right, let's go ahead and get you set up right now. We'll take care of the processing and onboarding. Would you like to hear how the process works? And they will say yes. So you say, okay, there are 3 steps. Step one is I'll send you the details so you can make the investment. Obviously, we need to get the payment. Number two is I'll send you over the agreement for you to review and sign it. And then three, I'll schedule your onboarding call so we can get started right away. How does that sound? Get their confirmation. Okay, great. Step one, I'll send you a payment link to make the investment and secure your discounted spot. So would you like me to send it through Zoom or WhatsApp? Maybe they will ask you, oh, I have to pay now? Yeah, let's get that done. That's it. Because, like, remember they had a conversation with somebody before the sales call. So if the person who qualified them correctly did their job, they know that this costs money and they should have the money and there should not be an issue and they should have a credit card. So there should not be those issues if you've done the pre-qualification properly. But sometimes it could be like they're not ready to make the investment right there and then. But usually at this point, they will just go ahead and do it. So if they ask whether you should pay now, the answer is just yes. Note only offer payment plan only if it's requested. All right. Create a two pay, a three pay method, but don't go more than that. Installment plans should always cost more than the original to encourage people to go with the one pay. So, for example, if your program is $5,000, you can do a two pay option, two times 70, 27 and 50, like 2,750, or three pay option, two times almost $2,000. So that becomes like $1,000 extra by making the payment plan, right? Good. Anyways, do not let them off the phone without first signing the promise agreement, which is basically the agreement. Let's just call it the agreement. If you hang up and then email it to them, there's a very high chance that they do not sign. Once you enroll them, email them the agreement through HelloSign or DocuSign or whatever software that you like to use. And give them a few minutes to review it and sign it. Once they complete signing it, then you can conclude the call. So you send the link, they're making the payment, or they say, oh, can I split it up? You say, sure, we have two options. We can do two times this or three times this. What works for you? Oh, I'll do three times this. Okay, great. Here's the link. All right, you have your Stripe open, for instance, and they're now paying. And you're saying, great, I received it. Now, next step is we got to sign your agreement. Okay, so I'm going to send you the agreement. You send the agreement. So I'll just give you like a few minutes just so we can conclude this call because I'm not allowed to set you up for an onboarding before you confirm the scope of the deal we made here today. So I'll just let you be now for a couple of minutes. You can just read it through, and once you're ready, you can sign it. Does that sound fair? Yeah, it sounds fair. Okay, and you give them 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Sometimes it depends on the contract. 5 minutes. Let them read. Sometimes if they need 10 minutes, give them 10 minutes, and they can ask you questions right there and then. You want them to sign because also there's a the refund no refund policy is in the agreement. So once they're paid, they can't get buyer's remorse, right? Like because it literally will say in the contract you can't get your money back. And even in some contracts we have like you can't get cold feet. This is not a program where like, if you get it's said in a more professional way, but we basically say if you get a life epiphany and like you all of a sudden find out that you don't want to do day trading, you can't get your money back because of that. Like we have a no refund policy, absolutely. If you get cold feet, that's on you. So just make sure that when you sign this, you understand that, you've committed to this program. Do you understand this? Like, we have something phrased like that. You can look at the contract section to see what we have. But I think that's really, really important to at least have a no refund policy because now they paid, boom. If they get second thoughts, it's much easier to get them in again. They have signed or something. And they also now understand that, like, okay, it's kind of like burning the ships. They're burning the ships. You're going to war. Like that whole metaphor with, like I think it was I can't remember if the Romans or Vikings or Greek people, like some people, ancient people, they went to war, they went to the new islands, and then they basically said, men, we are burning the ships. They burned the ships. Now they could not get back to their home country. They had to conquer. There was only one way. So that's what you're doing here. You're just making it, there's only one way. We have to conquer. It's death or win. That's it in this program. And you want that frame. So you want them to sign the agreement and then you want them to schedule their onboarding. Um, and you do that after they complete the payment, schedule their onboarding call right away. Make sure they don't leave the call without a next step set in the calendar. That's another important thing. There should always be a next step in the calendar when they paid you. Not having paid you and not having a next step is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So that's why if they're making the payment, let's say on a WhatsApp, like you're sending them on WhatsApp and they say, I'll do the payment later, and they will do it later. Like you want to make sure, like as soon as you get that notification, that's why we have notifications. We literally are all team members in sales and coaching get notifications once a sale get in, because then we can contact them within minutes and say, congratulations, let's get you scheduled for your onboarding, da 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 da. So, anyways, ideally, onboarding should happen as soon as possible, preferably the next day. So if they send money today, tomorrow they have a call in the calendar. That would be good. Anyways, end the call on a positive. What do you look forward to the most? So after all that, I got the payment, I got them to sign the agreement, I got them scheduled on onboarding. I'd be like, awesome. Now we did those three steps that I told you. We got the investment done. You put down, congratulations. Put down the payment. Number two is we signed the agreement. Number three is we've got you scheduled in for your onboarding tomorrow. So yeah, how do you feel? It's gonna be like, oh, I feel pretty good. Good, man. I like that. So what do you look forward to the most? And you just want to end it on, let them talk. Let them, at this point, they've invested, they're gonna talk. And you're going to be like, yeah, yeah, I can totally understand that. You're going to absolutely crush it. Well, thank you for today. And again, congratulations, and we'll talk soon. All right. Ciao, ciao. You ended on a high note. They feel ecstatic. They've talked about all the good things. And I always want to end it on a high note. Okay, stage nine, how to overcome objections. So this is a whole nother section. There's a lot of sections you can read through that, but or a lot of notes. There could be different kind of objections, how to deal with this. This will be another session. But now you know basically how to do this script. Eight of the nine stages are explained here, and now you just need to follow it. And again, I say let them talk 80% of the time. Follow the script. Like just follow the script. Sit with it in front of you and follow it. Don't be cute. Just follow it. It's going to work. With that said, go enjoy, go crush, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Ciao, ciao.